1. During a pre-trip inspection, a driver notices a slight air leak from the brake chamber. What is the most appropriate action according to federal safety regulations? A. Continue driving but monitor the leak regularly. B. Report the issue and continue the trip cautiously. C. Tag the vehicle out of service and notify maintenance immediately. D. Tighten the chamber bolts and continue driving. 2. A trainee driver misses inspecting the fifth wheel locking mechanism during their pre-trip. As a mentor, what instructional strategy best ensures this error is corrected? A. Reprimand the trainee and document the mistake. B. Use a visual demonstration to highlight its critical safety function. C. Skip the fifth wheel review and focus on other areas. D. Ask another trainee to explain it, promoting peer instruction. 3. What should be the mentor's first step when a student fails to identify a cracked rim during a mock inspection? A. Fail the student immediately. B. Provide real-life examples of cracked rim hazards. C. Move on to the next topic to stay on schedule. D. Encourage guessing on future inspections. 4. Which of the following best demonstrates regulatory compliance when inspecting the air brake system? A. Listening for air leaks only after the engine is running. B. Checking the compressor belt tension visually. C. Performing a full leak down test with the brakes applied. D. Confirming brake pedal responsiveness only while driving. 5. How should a driver confirm that the trailer electrical lines are properly connected and not damaged? A. By checking for blinking dashboard indicators. B. By pulling the trailer briefly to test lights. C. By performing a full visual and functional test of all lights. D. By asking the previous driver for verification. 6. A CDL instructor notices a student bypassing inspection of the coupling system. What evaluation method would best assess understanding in this area? A. Multiple choice quiz. B. Peer feedback session. C. Real-time performance assessment during inspection. D. Written report on coupling mechanics. 7. What does DOT regulation require when inspecting emergency equipment? A. Only confirm its presence. B. Confirm it is sealed and stored properly. C. Ensure it's within the cab and check for expiration dates. D. Ensure it is easily accessible and fully operational. 8. A student completes the exterior inspection but overlooks the tires. Which adult learning strategy helps reinforce this missed component? A. Use a detailed checklist with tire specifications. B. Skip the review since it's self-explanatory. C. Provide verbal reminders for future inspections. D. Assign a penalty grade to discourage repetition. 9. Which of the following is required during the inspection of steering components? A. Turn the wheel and listen for noise. B. Ensure play exceeds 2 inches in a 20-inch wheel. C. Check for missing or worn cotter pins and loose parts. D. Confirm that hydraulic fluid is topped off. 10. During a mock inspection, a student skips checking under the vehicle. How should the mentor proceed? A. Ask another student to point it out. B. Provide corrective feedback and require a redo. C. Allow the mistake and continue for time efficiency. D. Penalize the student without further explanation. 11. What is the correct action if slack adjusters on the brake system move more than 1 inch with manual force? A. Note it as normal wear. B. Report it as a critical defect needing repair. C. Add grease to the chamber. D. Decrease air pressure and retest. 12. How can a mentor reinforce correct use of the phrase "no illegal welds or modifications" during trailer frame inspection? A. Show photos of incorrect and correct examples. B. Allow students to define the term themselves. C. Avoid explaining to prevent confusion. D. Repeat it until memorized. 13. What type of curriculum tool best supports teaching inspection of air suspension systems? A. Flashcards. B. Simulation-based training modules. C. Oral recitation drills. D. Driver logs. 14. Which component is checked during both external and internal inspections? A. Air tanks. B. Mirrors. C. Emergency brakes. D. Windshield. 15. If a driver forgets to check that cargo is secure, what is the most likely regulatory consequence? A. A minor warning. B. DOT citation and possible out-of-service violation. C. Suspension of the CDL. D. Mandatory retraining. 16. Which teaching strategy ensures long-term recall of the steps in inspecting the brake system? A. Rote memorization drills. B. Kinesthetic activities like hands-on practice. C. Video watching only. D. Writing steps from memory once. 17. A driver identifies a cracked windshield during inspection. What is the correct DOT-compliant response? A. Note it and schedule repair at next service. B. Mark the vehicle out of service until repaired. C. Continue if the crack is less than 2 inches. D. Tape over the crack and proceed. 18. What is a primary risk of failing to inspect the glad hands during a pretrip? A. Higher fuel consumption. B. Increased tire wear. C. Brake failure from air pressure loss. D. Inaccurate logbook reporting. 19. When guiding a new driver, what feedback technique improves inspection retention? A. Immediate feedback with corrective demonstration. B. End-of-week reviews only. C. Written exam without hands-on assessment. D. Delayed critique to allow self-reflection. 20. What is the regulatory expectation for inspecting reflectors and reflective tape? A. Only check if driving at night. B. Ensure they are clean, intact, and visible from required distances. C. Wipe them down weekly. D. Replace them after 1 year regardless of condition. 21. A student fails to identify a loose tie rod end during the inspection. As an evaluator, what should you prioritize in your feedback? A. Point out the mistake after the exam ends. B. Provide immediate, specific correction with safety implications. C. Move on to avoid embarrassing the student. D. Mark it incorrect without further explanation. 22. What component must be checked to ensure the fifth wheel is properly greased? A. Trailer apron. B. Mounting bolts. C. Locking jaws. D. Platform surface. 23. Which inspection element is most critical to preventing trailer separation during transit? A. Battery box. B. Kingpin and locking jaws. C. Fuel tank straps. D. Windshield wipers. 24. What is the best way to ensure trainees understand how to inspect air hoses for defects? A. Ask them to read the manual. B. Have them observe a professional technician. C. Let them inspect and then discuss findings in a guided group. D. Provide a diagram without hands-on training. 25. When inspecting suspension components, what must be verified about leaf springs? A. They have no more than one cracked leaf. B. They are clean. C. They are not missing, shifted, or broken. D. They are freshly lubricated. 26. How can you best assess a student's ability to inspect the drive shaft? A. Ask theoretical questions. B. Have them identify its location on a diagram. C. Directly observe their inspection and ask probing questions. D. Provide a video to review afterward. 27. A CDL student asks why they must check the alternator belt. What is the most educational response? A. It's on the checklist, so you must check it. B. Because it helps the engine run more quietly. C. The belt powers key systems and if loose, it could lead to breakdown. D. It's required by the instructor. 28. What communication method is most effective when teaching multilingual CDL trainees about vehicle inspections? A. Only written English materials. B. Incorporating bilingual visuals and demonstrations. C. Lecture-based delivery only. D. Peer evaluation using technical terms. 29. If the hydraulic brake fluid is low, what should be the immediate action during inspection? A. Note it and continue the trip. B. Top it off and drive. C. Check for leaks and report for repair. D. Ignore it unless the brakes feel soft. 30. What is a required item in the cab that must be verified during the inspection? A. Fire extinguisher. B. Engine oil. C. Exhaust clamp. D. Tandem lock. 31. During a pre-trip inspection, if the exhaust system is found to be leaking, what action complies with DOT safety? A. Temporarily seal it with heat tape. B. Continue only during daylight hours. C. Place the vehicle out of service until repaired. D. Reduce speed to avoid fumes. 32. Which of the following best represents a valid method of mentoring a new driver in vehicle inspection? A. Letting them observe without participating. B. Reviewing their written notes after the inspection. C. Co-performing the inspection and explaining each step. D. Testing them immediately without preparation. 33. Which of the following systems must be inspected for leaks, damage, or improper connections? A. Exhaust system. B. Electrical lines and air hoses. C. Windshield defroster. D. Cargo control devices. 34. What is the regulatory requirement for tire tread depth on the front axle? A. At least 4/32 of an inch. B. 2/32 of an inch for all axles. C. 3/32 for front, 2/32 for rear. D. No specific requirement. 35. A driver completes their inspection and logs it digitally but did not physically check the emergency exits. What is the regulatory status? A. The log overrides the physical requirement. B. Acceptable if the vehicle passed last inspection. C. Non-compliant and a safety hazard. D. Permitted if trip is under 10 miles. 36. What is a best practice for confirming mirror integrity during an inspection? A. Shake the mirrors to test mounting. B. Clean only if dirty. C. Ask someone else to check while driving. D. Check only the passenger side. 37. Which is most critical when inspecting the battery box? A. Ensuring it's hidden from view. B. Confirming it's clean. C. Checking that it's secure and connections are tight. D. Replacing any battery older than 2 years. 38. What component must be checked for secure mounting and leaks during inspection? A. Headlights. B. Tailgate. C. Air compressor. D. Fuel filler cap. 39. A trainee continually forgets to inspect the safety pin on the sliding fifth wheel. Which mentoring technique is most effective? A. Require them to recite the manual. B. Schedule additional theory sessions. C. Use a checklist and shadow inspection. D. Remove them from training. 40. Which tool helps students self-assess their inspection performance effectively? A. General knowledge test. B. Inspection simulation software. C. Instructor's final grade. D. Daily attendance log. 41. When checking the coolant level, what method is safe and compliant? A. Open radiator cap immediately. B. Use sight glass or overflow reservoir markings. C. Squeeze hoses to estimate pressure. D. Rely on dashboard indicators only. 42. What is the most effective evaluation method for determining if a driver is proficient in inspecting the coupling system? A. True, false quiz. B. Observation with a structured rubric. C. Peer evaluation. D. End of course interview. 43. If a driver fails to detect a missing lug nut, what communication approach should a mentor use? A. Ignore the mistake until next inspection. B. Provide immediate constructive feedback with visual examples. C. Criticize the driver in front of peers. D. Review the entire inspection checklist again. 44. Which of the following inspection items poses the greatest risk if skipped? A. Radio antenna. B. Windshield washer fluid. C. Brake chambers. D. Seatbelt tension. 45. A student insists that tire inflation can be estimated by kicking the tire. What is the appropriate instructional response? A. Agree if no gauge is available. B. Accept it as an informal check. C. Demonstrate proper use of a tire pressure gauge. D. Skip the tire inspection altogether. 46. A key aspect of teaching vehicle inspections is ensuring learners A. Memorize inspection order without understanding function. B. Can describe each part theoretically. C. Understand the purpose and risk of failure for each component. D. Focus only on items that affect engine performance. 47. Which curriculum method is most appropriate for visual learners in pre-trip inspection training? A. Written manual only. B. Diagram labeled handouts and videos. C. Lecture notes. D. Peer reviews. 48. When inspecting the drive axle, which item is not required? A. Checking tires for even wear. B. Inspecting leaf springs. C. Confirming axle housing is not leaking. D. Checking seatbelt function. 49. If a vehicle's reflective tape is dirty and peeling, what is the compliant action? A. Replace immediately to maintain visibility. B. Drive during daylight hours only. C. Wipe it down and check next week. D. Ignore if reflectors are working. 50. What should the driver do if they notice uneven brake wear during inspection? A. Document and monitor weekly. B. Replace the pad immediately. C. Report for service before operating. D. Ignore if the vehicle stops normally. 51. When inspecting the windshield wipers, which condition would require immediate maintenance? A. Wipers operate but make noise. B. Blades are less than 6 months old. C. Rubber is cracked or missing. D. Wipers only work on the highest speed. 52. A student repeatedly confuses the air tanks with the fuel tanks during training. What instructional strategy is most effective? A. Ignore the confusion unless it causes a problem. B. Provide printed labels for self-study. C. Use color-coded diagrams and repeated physical walkthroughs. D. Advise the student to memorize by reading aloud. 53. What must be verified about the emergency triangles during inspection? A. Their shape and expiration date. B. That all are present, intact, and stored securely. C. That they are stored under the driver's seat. D. That they are electronic and functioning. 54. Which of the following demonstrates effective regulatory compliance regarding frame inspection? A. Checking for cracks, illegal welds, and rust. B. Ensuring it is the same color as the cab. C. Looking only for visible damage. D. Pressing the frame with your foot. 55. What should a driver do if a wheel seal shows signs of leakage during the pre-trip? A. Clean it and check again in 100 miles. B. Document it but drive cautiously. C. Tag the vehicle and report it for immediate maintenance. D. Cover the leak with tape and proceed. 56. A student argues that checking door hinges is unnecessary. What is a mentoring-based response? A. Agree and skip that step. B. Remind them it's required but don't explain why. C. Demonstrate the potential danger of a failed hinge using a case study. D. Assign a group project unrelated to the issue. 57. What teaching strategy encourages problem solving during vehicle inspection training? A. Provide step-by-step instructions only. B. Present scenarios and ask students how they would respond. C. Have students memorize parts without questions. D. Emphasize speed over quality of inspection. 58. When checking the trailer landing gear, what must be verified? A. That it is oiled. B. That it is fully extended at all times. C. That it is fully raised, secure, and free of damage. D. That it is painted with reflective paint. 59. Which mentoring technique helps reinforce inspection steps for forgetful learners? A. Surprise quizzes only. B. Peer mentoring with demonstration repetition. C. Verbal repetition with no hands-on activity. D. Individual written tests only. 60. If a student skips checking the fuel tank straps and cap, how should this be addressed in training? A. Mention it once and move on. B. Mark them incomplete without feedback. C. Use the error as a teaching moment to discuss fuel leakage risks. D. Skip that topic to save time. 61. What is the most critical reason for inspecting the air pressure gauge before driving? A. To confirm the cab temperature. B. To check if the truck will accelerate properly. C. To ensure air systems are building pressure correctly. D. To verify fuel economy data. 62. Which of the following is the most effective method for teaching proper inspection of the trailer's tandem release arm? A. Verbal description of the arm's function. B. Showing a diagram only. C. Live demonstration followed by student practice. D. Reading the manual aloud to the group. 63. A trainee driver only performs an exterior walk-around without using a checklist. What evaluation action should be taken? A. Allow it if time is limited. B. Accept it if no errors occur. C. Mark as incomplete and reevaluate with a checklist. D. Ignore unless a DOT audit occurs. 64. When inspecting the air compressor, what is one required check for compliance? A. Confirm it runs silently. B. Ensure it operates without leaks and is gear or belt driven. C. Make sure it is painted red. D. Check that it runs only with the clutch pressed. 65. Which of the following items must be present and functional in a compliant cab inspection? A. A portable cooler. B. Horn and windshield wipers. C. Bump curtain and cell phone holder. D. Extra pair of gloves. 66. If a CDL student cannot locate the frame cross members during inspection, what is the most helpful instructional response? A. Tell them to skip that part for now. B. Show a video and test them later. C. Point out the part physically and explain its function. D. Refer them to an online manual. 67. Which of the following best supports adult learners in understanding brake drum inspections? A. Memorizing a checklist. B. Watching a short video. C. Examining real brake drums with guidance on wear signs. D. Completing a multiple-choice worksheet. 68. What should be checked about the windshield during an inspection? A. That it is tinted. B. That it has no wiper marks. C. That it is clean, clear, and free of damage. D. That it has a sunshade. 69. A driver reports that the trailer's marker lights are out. What is the proper course of action? A. Drive only during the day. B. Replace the bulbs next week. C. Take the vehicle out of service until lights function properly. D. Continue if hazard lights work. 70. A trainee confuses the service brake check with the parking brake check. What is the best way to address this? A. Ignore it until the final test. B. Re-explain verbally at the end of the session. C. Demonstrate each step while asking questions throughout. D. Assign written homework. CDL Class A Vehicle Inspection. The CDL Class A Vehicle Inspection Test evaluates a commercial driver's ability to conduct a thorough pre-trip inspection of a combination vehicle to ensure it is safe for operation. This test covers key components including the engine compartment, steering system, suspension, brakes, tires, lights, coupling system, and trailer. Drivers must identify each part, explain what they are inspecting for, and demonstrate how they would check it. The test emphasizes regulatory compliance, mechanical knowledge, and attention to detail, reflecting real-world safety responsibilities. It is typically performed in person with an examiner and is a required component for obtaining a CDL Class A license. Mastery of this inspection is critical for preventing vehicle failures and accidents on the road. Here are the top 5 beneficial uses of the sample exam. 1. Enhances road safety. By ensuring drivers can identify and address mechanical issues before operating, the test reduces the risk of accidents caused by equipment failure. 2. Promotes regulatory compliance. It trains drivers to meet FMCSA inspection standards, helping carriers and operators avoid violations, fines, and out-of-service orders. 3. Develops mechanical awareness. The test builds drivers' knowledge of key vehicle systems, empowering them to detect wear, leaks, or malfunctions that could escalate into costly or dangerous problems. 4. Supports preventive maintenance. Regular inspection habits fostered by the test help fleets manage repair schedules more effectively and reduce unplanned downtime. 5. Builds professional credibility. Successfully passing the inspection test demonstrates a driver's commitment to safety, professionalism, and industry standards, enhancing employability.